Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Awkward Situations, the series where you guys write comments about situations happening in your lives, awkward or otherwise, or embarrassing, or whatever you want to talk about. Just leave it in the comments, and then you might see it in an upcoming video. I'm using a face cam today. I'm sorry if it looks framey or choppy, or if the gameplay looks choppy. I've seen one or two comments on every Awkward Situations that the gameplay looks framey or choppy. I'm not the best at this. I'm not a professional, and I try to get better and better every year that I do it, but I could have some weird issue that is causing me to not record gameplay correctly. Sidearms mentioned an issue to me that I corrected about a month ago, so hopefully that is not the case anymore. But either way, I hope you guys appreciate me trying the new face cam. Maybe it'll stay, maybe it won't. I don't know. It adds extra time to my render, but if it increases the quality of the video, then I will keep it. I wanted to give you guys an update on an awkward situation I talked about a month ago, almost exactly a month ago. It went up on February 5th. It was Awkward Situations. The episode title was 3 and Out. And I had an awkward situation in there about a young man who got some new shoes for Christmas. He took them over to his friend's house, and his friend's dog tore up the shoes. He didn't know what to do about that. So he recently left a comment. I can't remember what I said. I said, like, to maybe have your parents mediate, or just, I don't know. You can go watch the episode if you want to see what I said. But he recently followed up and said, "Hey, Joel, in your last video, you addressed my situation. It was about the shoes that my friend's dog tore up. I ended up calling Nike and told them what happened. To my surprise, they sent me a new pair for free. They are the Nike NobodyEpic Low Flyknit 2. Other than that, I'm 17 and a senior in high school. I live in Heartland, Michigan. When I was watching the video, you said, 'You're poor and you have a small dick and a receding hairline.' Just kidding, I'm talking about myself. I lost it." I don't remember saying that, but that's a great insult to myself, Joel. I had a huge smile on my face for the rest of the day. I've been subscribed to you since Modern Warfare 3, maybe Black Ops 2. My favorite series besides Awkward Situations, Rap Battles. You're a huge inspiration on me. I wish you would upload more. Okay, well, I appreciate that you resolved the situation. I didn't even think to call Nike. That's really cool that they sent you new shoes. Nike is a good company for doing that. And if you guys ever want to follow up on awkward situations, if I pick your situations, leave a comment, or I guess find a more discreet way to contact me if you don't want to go into details. In the comments, like I said, I read through the comments on every awkward situations video, so I can follow up on the situations when people follow up with me. I have another one I could follow up on next week if you guys like the follow-ups, even though it makes the intro way longer and people just probably want to get to the awkward situations. Is there anything else that I wanted to discuss? Nothing that I can think of, so I guess we will go to the first awkward situation right now. Awkward situation. My friend from 6 years recently got a girlfriend. They have been dating for around 2 months, and I have never met her nor talked to her. My friend and I were planning to play CSGO one night, and we usually play while on Skype, but this time his girlfriend was there. I pretended like I didn't know it was her girlfriend, his girlfriend, and we went like that for a while. So I cracked a joke about him talking to another girl, and we laughed. It was funny. 10 minutes later, I made a different joke about him going out with another girl, and she took it serious, left the call, and blocked him on everything, and they ended up breaking up the next day. It's all my fault, and I don't know what to do. Any advice? First of all, I would apologize to your friend. Second of all, I would try to reach out to the girl any way you can and explain that you were joking, you're incredibly awkward, and you make jokes to try to interact with people socially, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you plan. I don't know how you planned for it to go, but it obviously went a bad way. So I would try to contact those two parties separately, and if it doesn't get resolved, if they don't get back together, you did the best you could. I have to say this a lot, but I don't have the full perspective on what happened during this situation. This could have brought up a sore spot in their relationship, because maybe he did do something that was dishonest and she thought it happened again, so she just got really upset and had to leave. And maybe the jokes were really inappropriate. Maybe they weren't really inappropriate. I don't want to sound like I'm picking sides. In the comments, people tend to pick sides without knowing the full context of the situation. So I'm just going to speak about this situation from the perspective of myself, someone who uses humor to interact with people, because I am socially awkward and I don't know how to have normal conversations. So I'm just going to project that onto this person who also plays CSGO like I do. I feel like I'm pretty decent at interacting now that I'm older. The more mature you get, the more things you learn about being a human. God, that was damn good insight, Joel. Thank you. That's what I watch these videos for. And I feel like I know when to use humor and when not to use humor. A great example of when I used humor incorrectly was at my grandfather's funeral. I had a grandfather who I was really close to that died when I was 13 years old. And I saw another awkward situation about this, talking about how this person doesn't cry at funerals. And I haven't really cried at many funerals. I haven't had anyone in my life die that I'm super close to, thankfully. But you don't have the context of death when you're younger. It's hard to picture your own mortality. I think it's more natural for adults to cry because they understand the scope of life and they're closer to death. I don't know. I couldn't do a whole psychological breakdown, but needless to say, I felt close to my grandfather and was sad, but I was trying to diffuse things through humor at the post-funeral luncheon. After the funeral, everyone gets together with their tear-soaked faces and eats chicken pot pies. Actually, I think we had pork sliders. Pork sliders are such an MVP food. Like, this is totally off topic, but to all of my Jewish and Muslim viewers, what do you eat at like gatherings when people gather and you have to make a really easy food? Because when I go to open houses for college students, or I don't know what you call them, graduation parties, wherever you live in the country, or just when I go to any large gathering of people outdoors, what are we eating? Oh, fucking shredded pork. What else? It's the most versatile food in the United States of America. So I don't know how all my Jewish and Muslim viewers out there survive without it. But, you know, to each their own. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I'm just curious about what you eat at large family gatherings anyway. So we were at this post-funeral luncheon and we were eating food. My cousin, my uncle. Do you have people in your family, you don't know how you're related to them, but you just know their name, and you're like, hey, that's Dan, my cousin, great grandfather, second. Yeah, I'm going to call him my cousin. I think he's technically my cousin, but he's like 20 years older than me. So when I was 13, he was in his 30s. He comes up to me and asks how I'm doing, which is a perfectly fine thing to say. It's really awkward to interact socially at funerals in general because you don't know the mood of the people you're talking to. It's usually somber, and again, not a great time to joke. So the topics of conversation can range, and it's really difficult to navigate that social minefield. But he comes up to me and asks how I'm doing, and I said, a lot better than my grandfather because he died. I don't know why. It's still funny to me. I'm so sorry. My grandfather would have thought that was hilarious, too. I mean, he had a great sense of humor, and obviously I would not have said that to my dad, who was tore up, and it's a shitty situation. I hope when I die, people can, be humorous about it. Obviously, not to the detriment of, I'm trying to use big words to sound cool. Obviously, if it hurt my wife, that would tear me apart. But however you need to cope in a way that doesn't hurt other people, I feel like that's appropriate. But this really hit a sensitive spot for my cousin. He was like, Joel, you need to learn how to be appropriate in situations like this. Turned around and walked away. And I was just standing there like the 13-year-old I am, thinking, Joel, why don't you know how to talk to people? Honestly, I was kind of upset because I spent so much more time with my grandfather than he did. So I was like, what the fuck, bro? I mean, if I can joke about it, then I think we should all be able to be lighthearted about the situation. At the same time, I understand that people cope differently with death, and I don't really know what the true relationship between him and my grandfather was. And years later, obviously, I feel terrible about that, because if I was in the situation as a 23-year-old as opposed to a 13-year-old, I would know how to handle it better. And it would just be, well, let's see, how would I do it as a 23-year-old? I'm 26. How would I do it as a 26-year-old? Hey, Joel, it's your cousin who you've seen 3 times in your life asking you, how do you feel? I'm sad, but my grandfather had a great life, and I'm happy for the accomplishments that he had. It's that easy. See, you learn with time. And just as a note to get back to the topic of what you were discussing, friends who are in relationships, I would always tread lightly in those situations. My friends and I always do, my online friends and my real life friends. When you're meeting someone for the first time, first impressions are important and not the best time to joke. If I were to use my sense of humor around people I was meeting for the first time to its fullest, disgusting, most depraved sense, they would be pretty put off by me. But I try to be nice, and you let the humor come in afterwards. Just be kind, and you don't have to always be joking around with your people. And that's a tough situation because how you act with your friends is different than how you would act around your parents, is different than how you would act around your girlfriend. So you were in goofing around with your friends mode, but she was in being with her boyfriend mode. And I don't know. It just, think about that next time. It's a good life lesson. Let's move on to the next situation. I'm taking too much time on this. I'm not going to read this entire thing because it's long, but it's a gentleman describing a situation he had with a girl. He thought that he was vibing with her. She went away for a while because she has an eating disorder, or what he believes to be an eating disorder, and she's back at school. They're not really communicating very well, and he wanted to ask her to prom, so he's wondering if he should still ask her to prom or if he should just look for other women. And then there was this other person who asked, not really an awkward situation, but Joel, how did you attain a prom date while you were in high school, if you even went to prom? So we're going to do the double prom special. I'm going to be talking to 95% of my viewers right now, and that's males. Females, I mean, you get asked to prom normally, so this really doesn't apply to you. Shouts out to the 5%. The 3%, I don't know. It's a small percentage. I could go look in my analytics if I really wanted to know, but I mostly have male viewers. So we're going to do the double prom special, talk about asking girls to prom and how I did it. To the gentleman who is attracted to the girl with an eating disorder, I would just talk to her on it. I don't know why a lot of these problems can't be solved by just talking to people. I mean, if you could just talk to her and say, hey, I know that you're in a rough spot right now. I feel incredibly awkward asking this, but I just want to know what your thoughts would be on prom, if that's something you're still interested in going to. I know that a lot of kids ask people to prom in really cool ways, and by insinuating that you want to go to prom with her, it would ruin the surprise of asking her to prom in a cool way. But actually going to prom is more cool than asking people to prom, in my opinion. And I mean, you don't have to go. It's a cool social event in high school, but you don't have to go. I think it would be a great experience for you to go and to try to talk to this girl and take her if she's in the right state of mind to go. If not, gauge her feelings on asking someone else. And if she's okay with you asking someone else, then do it. If she's not okay with it, but you still feel like asking someone else, then do it and live with the consequences. You know, people have to live their own lives. You can do things in a way that won't hurt her. You don't have to be unselfish. Well, okay, how would I describe this? You're not being unselfish by not hurting her feelings. You don't have to go out of your way to hurt her feelings if you're going to go with a separate prom date. If she's dealing with her own issues, you have to enjoy your time in high school too. So there's a way to make this work. Just, it starts by talking to her, engaging how she's doing. I can't really go into further detail than that because I'm not a great person with relationships in general. I'm not a relationship psychologist, and I don't know the full context of the situation, what you guys talk about. So I hope you can figure it out from there. I hope that helps. But it starts by open and honest communication. Now, my prom experiences. In my high school, you could go to prom when you're a junior and a senior. I'm sure it's the same for most high schools across the country. Maybe some people have junior prom, or maybe it's only senior prom, whatever. But in my high school, you had 2 chances to go to prom, essentially. Or, I mean, you could go every year if you were like some hot freshman girl and some 18-year-old asked you. I don't know, that's kind of an interesting dynamic. Hey, you're fresh out of middle school. Why don't you get your hot ass in a dress and... What? That is something that could be used against me if I say that in a video. Whatever. I mean, you guys, yeah, it's weird, but whatever. I didn't ask younger girls. Well, no, I did ask. Okay, well, let's go into how I asked girls at prom. So my junior year, I didn't have a relationship. I wasn't in a relationship. I was kind of a late bloomer in high school. I think I've said this, but I wasn't in a relationship with any girls. I had a lot of girls who were friends, but I didn't have any crushes. Well, the girl I ended up asking, I did have a crush on, but nothing came from it. So I knew this girl did not have a date to the prom, and she was one of my really close friends, and I didn't have a date as well, so I keyed in on asking her to prom. And I knew that she would be cool with it because she was my cool friend. I wasn't worried about rejection, and yeah, I don't know how to talk about, Joel, what if I get rejected, or the confidence thing? I don't know. You just got to know. Like, you got to do some detective work and make sure she would be cool with being asked to prom. I think I maybe asked her friends if she would be cool with that, just to get a little sense of it. And they said, yeah, you definitely need to ask her. Actually, I know I asked her friends if they thought that she would be cool with it, but I said, don't tell her that I'm asking this, but I just need your opinion. Would she like to go with me? And one of her friends in particular, I remember, said she would love to go with you. Trust me, I know that she's been talking about this, like she might want to go with me. So it was a heads up that I needed to ask. I went to my local grocery store and got, you guys are going to think, well, first of all, you guys are going to wonder, how am I not obese with how much I talk about dessert? But I went to my local grocery store and I got a cookie cake. Wow, Joel, you're going to die of a heart attack. If I die of a heart attack between the ages of 30 and 60, you're going to know it's because I ate too much sugar in my life. But life's short, especially when you eat as much sugar as I do. But anyway, I got a cookie cake and it said, her name, will you go to prom with me? I had them write it in the frosting, those frosting artists who can write anything. You ever just want to go get an inappropriate cookie cake? That would be a cool way to break up with someone. Like, Denise, you cheating bitch, move out. And then just hand her the cookie cake. That's a terrible social situation. Anyway, so I went to her house and I said, hey, I got a treat for you, or whatever stupid line I said. And I gave her the cookie cake. She was like, oh my God, yes, I'll totally go with you. And then we both ate the cookie cake together and watched some television. It was a romantic, hot experience. And I did not get laid from that situation. I got a little, touching action. That was pretty cool. I didn't know how to put the moves on women, but I had a great time. We had a great experience at prom. My senior year, I was in a relationship with a girl at the time. And when you're in a relationship with a girl, that makes prom a whole lot easier because you're asking her. You just got to find a creative way to do it. You actually have a little more pressure to be creative, I feel like, because the answer is going to be yes. I don't still have this CD. I know you guys are going to ask for this CD. I don't still have it. I don't know what happened to it. I have moved 7 times in my life since I did this, but I recorded, 7, I don't know how many times it was, but I recorded a song for my then girlfriend in high school to ask her to prom. I recorded a rap. I was really big into rap in high school because 8 Mile came out when I was in middle school. And, I have a little talent for poetry, and that kind of correlates to rap pretty well. So I decided to use my skills to write a rap to ask my girlfriend to prom. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what beat I used. I don't remember. Actually, I might have used the Lemonade beat that the old Gucci Man, say that any less cool, and Big Sean have used on freestyles before. It might have been that, but I can't remember. I think it had a piano in it. But I just wrote a rap asking her to prom. We were driving in a car somewhere, and I was like, hey, let me put on this Burns CD I made for you, because we traded a lot of music between each other in our relationship. So it would have made sense for me to be like, hey, I burned a new CD today. Let's listen to these songs. And I played it, and she laughed and almost made fun of me. It was, maybe it was a little foreboding, but I think she appreciated it. I thought it was a pretty slick move. Went to prom, what did we do? Did we have a great time? Yeah, we had a pretty great time. That was the first time I tried sushi. I didn't like it. Now I love sushi. And the afterwards was not as spectacular as it could have been, but it's still a great memory. And I was proud that I asked 2 women within a period of 2 years, being as socially awkward as I am, to prom, and it went successfully. If I can do it, all of you out there can do it. Trust me. I'm as socially awkward and terrible with these things as it gets. So just be confident. You're only in high school for such a short amount of time. It feels like you're there forever when you're in it, but once you get out of it, you think, wow, that was a 4-year period of my life that nobody really remembers or thinks about. Well, I always think about playing basketball and stuff, but just all of the little social interactions that you get so nervous about, it's a joke to you when you're 19, but especially when you look back at it at the age of 26. I remember stressing about the cookie cake, and I'm like, is she going to like this? Is she going to think it's cool? Now I worry about things like paying my taxes and not getting arrested for committing whatever type of crime you could commit as an adult, or all of these things. So it's small potatoes. Trust me, you guys can handle it. I was going to do another awkward situation or 2 Yeah, let's do at least one more. So I had a really funny one that I was going to do, and then I also wanted to do this one, but I decided to just save the funny one for next week's episode. When I have a guest, it might be funnier with a guest. So we will push that aside and read this self-serving awkward situation, which I totally love when I can really relate to something. Awkward situation. Hey, Joel, I have a YouTube channel that I enjoy posting videos on for fun. Not this account. This is my personal one. My friends don't know about it, and I've always been self-conscious about my videos. The other day, I was linking my friend a funny video I saw on YouTube and had one, and okay, so yeah, he accidentally showed his friend the video. His friend said it was cool, I don't think it's weird, but he's nervous about how the friend feels about his awkward, weird YouTube channel. Yeah. I think this is a really interesting situation, and it doesn't only apply to people who do YouTube. It applies to everyone's interests and people finding out about what your interests really are. I mean, you're so guarded when you're young, especially in middle school and high school. And when you become an adult, you care less and less what people think about you. So it opens you up to more hobbies. And I still have an issue with this. I have told you guys, I think I said last episode, that I didn't really fully enjoy my high school experience because I didn't do newspaper and video production until my senior year. I was worried about what the upperclassmen would say if I wrote a stupid article or made a video that I thought was funny, but it turned out that other people didn't think it was so funny. I was so concerned about that. And I'm still concerned to this day on YouTube about trying, I don't know, I'm trying new things. It's hard. I was having a conversation with my friend Cyrus on text about how I wish I could operate in a vacuum. Any creative person probably feels this way from time to time. You wish you could operate without outside influence. Like, I should just unsubscribe from everyone I'm subscribed to on YouTube and, just not ever look at the trending page, not see what other people are doing, and let my own personality show on my channel more and not do an imitation of what other channels do better. But that's really hard to do. And we all have our own hobbies and interests, and I don't think that your friend really cares how I treat this situation, because some people ask me, I do some outrageous stuff on my channel, and a lot of people ask me how I deal with this situation. People watching my videos that I interact with in real life. I know a lot of people in my family and a lot of my friends have seen the videos, and I just kind of don't care what they think. They don't really give me feedback, which is cool. And if they do give me feedback, it's always positive. I've never had somebody in real life come up to me and say, that's really negative or anything like that. That would kind of make me feel awkward. But I wouldn't change what I was doing. I would just be like, wow, this person is really dumb. But my parents have always been super supportive, and they're really chill. I don't want to sound like a badass, but we swear around our parents. We just have kind of a more friend relationship as adults. All of my siblings are adults. We're all in our mid to lower 20s. And we have more of a friend relationship with our parents, but at the same time, I still need my dad for stuff and my mom for stuff. If I have questions about getting older, they're always there for me. But it's more of a real relationship. And I think you guys will come to find that as you get older. It starts when your parents have you, your kids, and they raise you. And then when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s or whatever, you have more of a real one-on-one relationship. And then when your parents get older, you have to take care of them. It's the circle of life. It's beautiful and terrible and weird. What am I talking about? I'm talking about YouTube. Are you guys familiar with those ASMR videos that people make? That's a huge category on YouTube right now, where you can just turn on a fan and leave it running for an hour, and you put the title as fan ASMR, and you get more views than I get on videos I put way too much effort into. But YouTube's very interesting like that. I linked a video on my Twitter of a guy who read the dictionary, or no, he counted to 100,000. He just sat in his chair and counted to 100,000. And then he also posted a video of him reading the entire dictionary from front to back. Very creative fellow, and he's getting a lot of views on those videos. And I just said, man, I try really hard to think of video ideas. I should just read my fucking dictionary. But YouTube's funny like that. These ASMR videos are very interesting because some of them are sexual. A lot of the ASMR artists, and I should say, I do listen to these videos a lot. When I have to edit, I don't like to just listen to the same thing over and over. Editing is essentially listening to the same thing over and over and over again. And the way my brain works, I cannot handle that. So I have to have music on in the background or just any type of white noise. Sometimes I'll Google search sounds of the ocean, and I'll have the ocean playing while I'm editing my friends on a video game saying, "You fucking bitch, I killed you," boom, and it's a weird dynamic in my head, but I handle it somehow. But some of these ASMR artists, ASMRers, they make videos where they're like nibbling the microphone, like, and it gives you the tingle. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is really fucking weird to you, but you can just look it up. It gives you the tingles if you are ASMR sensitive. But if your grandfather watches that, he might think to himself, Kathleen is doing some weird stuff on the computer, Maud. You gotta come look at this. And that's gotta be awkward. I've actually seen some of these ASMR people talk about their friends or people in their school discovering these videos in real life and them being bullied for something that they like to do. They like to make people feel good. ASMR can make some people feel good. And I like to make people feel good by making videos. So if somebody had a problem with that, it would make me feel like shit. But at the end of the day, the people who respond positively to your videos should, if you're doing things correctly, should always outweigh the people who are responding negatively. And it's a funny dynamic on YouTube. You can read 100 positive comments, but if the 101st comment is negative, you just zone in on that comment, and you gotta just try to avoid worrying about what people think. It's the hardest thing to do with anything as a hobby. You know, if you're a painter, if you're into painting, wow, I don't paint as good as fucking Pablo Picasso. I don't play basketball as good as LeBron James. It's such a hard thing to do, and I want you to know I'm a huge hypocrite when I'm saying this, because I struggle with it too, but at least I don't have the answer, but I can just say that I struggle with it daily. Somebody commented on my video. I was going through the last awkward situations, and they said, wow, Joel's a year older than me, and he's way more successful than me. And maybe this is stupid to say because I don't have a lot of debt. I'm not rich by any means, but for my age, I am doing well financially. I don't think I have any debt technically. Megan has student loan debt, so I count that as the two of us because we're married. But I still feel like I'm doing terribly because somebody who isn't doing what they want in their life at the age of 25 looks at me and thinks, wow, this guy has it figured out. He's got a YouTube channel and he's doing what he wants. And then I look at someone with a more successful YouTube channel and think, wow, my YouTube channel is shit. How do I do that? But there's always going to be someone who is better than you at something. And it's one of those facts of life that you just have to find a way to still be yourself and not worry about what the people in front of you are doing or what the people behind you are doing. And I wish I could do that if I could ever figure it out, or if I progress any further along that growth path in my life. I'll let you guys know. But I at least know you guys can relate to that. And to this dude, good luck with your YouTube channel. And don't worry about what your friends think. Don't worry about what I'm doing on my channel. Don't worry about what any big YouTubers are doing. Just do you. And that's the only way it can truly be successful, if you're also clickbaiting and have tits in your thumbnail, because that's a necessity nowadays. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you want to see face cam in the future. This video probably went up way later than I wanted it to, but, you know, I do kind of like it, honestly, because it does feel a little more personal. But, again, just let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys next week on Awkward Situations, probably with a guest. Goodbye.
Fuck from next to me if you thinking you know what's best for me. I ain't going back overpaying to get my next degree. I shot